Hello, Prealgebra students. This is lesson 29. Our objective for today is what are ratios, how do we write them, and use them. And let's just start off with the definition of a ratio. A ratio is a comparison of two numbers by division. So you've already been doing this. It's just a way to write them. And ratios can be written in four different ways, and here's the four different ways. We can write it with words, like saying 5 to 4. Write it with fractions, 5 over 4. As a decimal, 1.25. Or with a colon, 5 to 4. And just as remember here, we always write ratios in reduced form. So you wouldn't write 10 over 8, you'd write 5 over 4. Alright, yeah, so let's try an example here, like examples 1 and 2. It says there are 12 girls in a class and 10 boys in a class. What is the ratio of, and kind of have three different parts. So let's look here at part A. It says, what is the ratio of boys to girls? Well, we realize that there are 10 boys. So we're going to write this as 10. And there are 12 girls. So we can say 12. But of course we want to reduce that. We realize those are both even. So if we divide the top and the bottom by 2, we get 5 over 6. We could also write this as 5 to 6. Or as 5 to 6, 5 colon 6. Or we can find the decimal version of it, but normally we just write it in one of these three ways. So any one of these is okay. Looking at part B, it says, what's the ratio of girls to boys? Well, there are 12 girls, and there are 10 boys. So again, if we reduce that, that would be 6 to 5. Or 6 to 5, or 6 colon 5. Again, any one of those would be correct. Now part C, there's a little bit of a trick in there, because it says, what's the ratio of boys to the total number of kids in the class? Well, boys, we know there's 10, but what about the total number of kids in the class? Well, we know there's 12 girls, and that there's 10 boys. So we can kind of assume that they're going to be boys or girls. So if we added those up, that would be 22 in total. So then our ratio would be 10 to 22. Again, we want to reduce by dividing both of them by 2. So this is going to be 5 over 11, or again you could say 5 to 11, or you could say 5 colon 11. And again, any one of those three, you wouldn't have to have all three, but any one of those three would be fine. Now this is like example 3. It says at an Eagles basketball game, there were 87 home team fans and 61 guest team fans. What is the approximate ratio of home team fans to guest fans? Now, if we wanted an exact ratio, we would say something like 87 fans to 61 fans. Those fans would reduce, and we just get the ratio of 87 to 61. But it doesn't really help us too much because it's just, those are big numbers, they're not exact. Or those are exact, they're big numbers. But it just asks for an approximate ratio. So what we can do is we can kind of round both of those numbers. And I see that 87 is about the same thing as 90. And 61 is about the same thing as 60. So this is not exact, but we can if we use the word about, this would be close. And then of course we can go about reducing this. I can divide both of them by 10. That would be 9 over 6. Oh, but they're also divisible by 3. So divide both of them by 3. This would be 3 over 2. So the ratio of home team fans to guest team fans is about 3 to 2. And notice we kind of use that 3 to 2, and normally if you're writing a sentence out like this, you would use the written version of it, 3 to 2, as your ratio there. So this is our answer. One more here. This is example 4. It says Rosa kept a record of the number of pages and number of minutes she read each night. Find Rosa's approximate reading rate for the book and pages per minute. So let's just go through and see if we can find those. Since we're wanting pages per minute, that means pages comes first and minutes comes second. So for Monday, go up here, that would be 15 over 30. Well, I think we can realize that this is actually equal to 1/2 if I divided both of them by 15. For Tuesday, we would have 11 over 20, which is not exact, but is approximately equal to 10 over 20, which is equal to 1/2. Let's see if she consistently reads that there. Wednesday would be 14 over 30, which is about the same as Monday, which is 15 over 30. That's the same thing as 1/2. For Thursday, she's 20 over 40, and that's the same thing as 1/2. We divided both of them by 20. And then Friday, she is 27 over 50. That's pretty close to 25 over 50, which is the same thing as 1/2. So we could say Rosa read about 1 page every 2 minutes. And it is important to use the word about, because we did estimate on several of these, and maybe sometimes you read a little bit faster, a little bit slower, so it's important to use the word about. Your homework for today is on page 188. You're doing the practice set and 14 more of your choice. Good luck.